Yes, Oliver Washington, Swiss Public Radio. You were talking about some proposal the Prime Minister presented regarding the renegotiation of the backstop. Can you please elaborate a little bit, and can you argue why Mr. Juncker is not ready to take them as a basis for new negotiations?
No, I cannot go into the detail of a discussion, which, as you can imagine, will evolve in the next days and weeks. There was discussion, as the statement says, of various options, but I will not go into any specifics. This is a process. This is the context. This is the moment where we find ourselves. I don't. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. First, I'll go at the back, and then I'll come to you. Go ahead.
Harriet Lyne, the Press Association. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has today sent a letter to Theresa May setting out his Brexit demands, in which he calls for a permanent and comprehensive UK-wide customs union that gives the UK a say over future trade deals and close alignment with the single market. What do you make of the proposals, and whose do you prefer, Mr Corbyn's or Mrs May's?
Our interlocutor is Her Majesty's government and the Prime Minister. Yes, I had this.
Thank you, Margaritis. I'm Andres Gil from El Diario Spain. Is Prime Minister May happy with the possibility of opening the political declaration, but not the withdrawal agreement, which was the thing she was seeking? Do you think that this will be enough for her to pass the agreement in London?
I think this is a question that you should address to my counterpart with Downing Street number 10, not to me. Yes, Georgi.
Thanks, Margaritis. Was the probability of no-deal Brexit discussed or not?
The statement, I think, was very clear. The setting in which we find ourselves is very clear. And I don't want to repeat what I have already said, that this was to work together to achieve the United Kingdom's orderly withdrawal. Mark.
It's because you also said that at the end of February, Mr. Juncker and Mrs. May agreed to meet again. Does this mean that, let's say, in the next 2-3 weeks, so they will continue, or there will be continued negotiations on the wish, on the point of Mrs. May to find, like you say, another way, let's say, to circumvent, to change or adapt the backstop agreement?
I mean, of course, the fact that the joint statement clearly says that the two leaders agreed to meet again before the end of February, and that Michel Barnier will meet Stephen Barclay next Monday, this clearly shows that this is a process that will continue within the very specific setting set out by the joint statement. Then I had Jurek.
Does before end of February mean before the Sharm el-Sheikh summit?
Yeah, the end of February means 28th of February. And Sharm el-Sheikh, I think, is 25, 26. So, James, why did you take such a distance from me? No, you're not so James. Sorry, Nick. That's why you are far away, because James comes closer.
I'm not sure whether to be insulted or flattered that I look like James. I just want to say, I think you've answered one of the questions. So the two negotiating teams are going to meet. That's going to be Task Force 50 on your side leading those. And given what President Juncker said about the withdrawal agreement, can we take it that these talks are going to be exclusively about the political declaration, and just are they going to take the same form as the last talks? So are we going to get, you know, agendas and etc., or are they a bit more informal than that? Thank you.
Again, I think now that the text of the joint declaration is public, you will see that the joint declaration clearly and in some detail, I would say, presents can you let me make an answer, and then I'll come to you, Bruno, because you're distracting me.
Very sorry.
Sorry about that. I was saying that the joint statement clearly shows the opinions, positions expressed from both sides, and clearly shows that there is a way ahead, a context and the process and the timeline to address them. So this is where we are, this is what the teams will be doing, and I don't think I can say anything else. Bruno.
Could you when you say teams will hold talks, which teams? Is that Task Force Article 50, or is it Professor Dr. Selmayr and Mr. Juncker's team? So who are the teams? And are these talks a negotiation, or what exactly are they? And when you say in the statement that Mr. Juncker ruled out reopening the withdrawal agreement, does that include adding to the withdrawal agreement? What's the definition of reopening here?
I will not interpret anything that goes beyond the text agreed by the two leaders, which I read out to you. What is at stake, I think it's pretty obvious, it's stated in the text, is the next step necessary to achieve the orderly withdrawal of the United Kingdom. Which teams? The teams that have been doing this job for 2.5 years now. For us, the chief negotiator, Article 50, is of course always, has been and will be, is Michel Barnier, supported by all the other services of the Commission that are crucial in this process. And our Secretary General, of course, is part of this, is actually leading the services involved. I think we have exhausted the subject, at least for today. No, because Tom has something else to ask.
Did one of the both, either the Prime Minister or Mr. Juncker, raise the possibility to extend the deadline of 29th of March? Has this been an issue?
This is not something that you will find in the joint statement. Okay, thank you all. Different subject. Let's see, is this on a different subject?
It's about semantics. I mean, this robust the discussion, which side wanted to call it robust, and why robust? I mean, it's a little bit unusual.
Well, I was sure that that would attract someone's interest. This is something that both sides agreed. It is an accurate way to describe the tonality of their meeting. That's why you find it in the joint statement. Yes, Andres, take us elsewhere.
Very far indeed.